Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. Today is Saturday, May 27, 2023. The sun is in Gemini, so our outer lives are all about self-expression. We just want to be ourselves. We want to get out there and share ideas, listen to other people, find out what people are doing, collaborate, make plans. So I want to say that the sun in Gemini is a time when our communication issues might get illuminated to us, right? If we're struggling to communicate with somebody, we might get a little more of a push in terms of understanding how, right? To get along better with somebody or to get something across to someone. But the other good news is that the sun in Gemini is a time when we are really empowered to communicate well and to use that to create connection with people. And the moon is in Virgo today. So, we're weeding our gardens. We are giving compassion and healing, attention to ourselves and our loved ones. We're organizing things, cleaning up our houses, tidying things, dispersing resources is what Virgo does. So there's also maybe a little bit of spending some money to enact some of the plans that you made at the beginning of the month. Buying some tools or some project supplies, or purchasing that thing that you've been waiting to get so that you could begin your takeover of the world, whatever your version of that is. Okay, so I want to introduce you to the card that sits on the side of the page. That's the Eight of Swords over there, and it corresponds. It's here because it corresponds in astrology with the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Gemini. So Gemini is an air sign. Swords in tarot are air element symbolism, and air element symbolism is about the thoughts, the plans, the communication. But in a lot of ways, it all just begins with the thought, right? This idea that we have, and we probably each have about 10,000 ideas a day, and most of them we don't act on. Right? Because we don't have time to act on every single idea. But we have 10,000 ideas a day, and probably, half of them could be bad ideas even, right? So we have to sort of shuffle through and, pick out the good ideas, pick out the most actionable items, right? And the things that seem like they would be good for us, that seem like they would be healing for us or help us, sort of break some negative attachments. So, we come to the Eight of Swords here, and you see this person who, this is a picture of entrapment. This person feels as though they've been left out in the cold, and they have, there's sort of nothing they can do for themselves. They can't sort of see their way out of their predicament. And the sky is very gray. The ground looks sort of wet and muddy. It looks like a cold, dismal day with the wind blowing. And so that can be, if you sort of translate that into thoughts, because the swords are thoughts, plans, and communications. If you translate that into thought, then that's a very gloomy disposition. And it's a disposition where you feel like you're stuck in a situation, and you don't know how to get out. You can't see your way out. And, you're thinking you've been left out in the cold. You're thinking that this is a place where you cannot express yourself, right? You're not able to ask for what you need or pursue the goals that you need to pursue. So this is what I mean when I say that when the sun is in Gemini, some communications can crop up. And in this case, in the case of the Eight of Swords, this is really often a miscommunication with yourself. Okay, so you might have adopted a plan that seemed like a great idea at the time, and then having walked down this road and sort of gotten the benefits that you thought you would get, or not gotten the benefits that you thought you would get, you find yourself in this place where maybe you've made a lot of commitments to things that you don't really think that you don't feel interested in completing, right? Maybe you have said some things that people are holding you to, and you don't really feel that way anymore. You don't want to be held to things that you said 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You don't want to be held to commitments that you made when you were under the impression that this was a good idea, and now you see that it's a very bad idea, right? So this is a time when we have to have a conversation with ourselves, come clean with ourselves. Okay, this is an opportunity to tell the truth. To yourself first and foremost, like, okay, I got myself into this situation. I talked my way in here, or I was persuaded here. I got here by my choices. Okay, that's also a very swords vibe, your choices. So having got here by my choices, it's going to be my choices that get me out. And having gotten here by my word, it's my word that's going to get me out. I just have to be able to tell the truth. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. You know, somebody help me figure out a way. Or, you know, really, you know, nobody needs to help you figure out a way. You have all the tools you need at your disposal, okay, to cut your bonds. You know, your feet aren't tied. You can remove your blindfold and find your own way forward here, okay? But, you know, if you can find somebody to help you, if somebody wants to help you, you definitely, you know, allow people to help you. You're not completely on your own, and that's the point. Is that you may feel like you're completely on your own, especially if you are about to make a drastic change and nobody seems to understand that. The people around you are expecting you to be one way, and now you feel like you want to be another way because that would be more fulfilling. You know, that can create a lot of conflict, inner conflict, because we don't want to make that change and upset everybody, and, you know, sort of risk having problems with the people that we like to keep close. But the truth of the matter is the most important thing. Okay, so telling the truth, being honestly yourself, and being able to rely on the help and support of people who love you and appreciate you and continue to collaborate with you when you are being yourself and when you are telling the truth. That's, you know, that's what's going to help you move forward. Okay, so with that said, we got the Page of Fire. Wow, nice. So this is my Forhasha tarot card deck. It's by MJ Cullinane. It's not the only one she has, and she just makes beautiful tarot decks. So she makes beautiful art for tarot. So go check her out, MJ Cullinane. Today we got the Page of Fire, so that would correspond in regular tarot with the Page of Wands very quick, very easily. A page is a youthful figure. Fire is about drive, spark, initiative, ambition. Okay, it's about restlessness and impatience. Okay, sort of an impetuousness comes across with fire. You know, when a fire element is out of alignment, when a fire element is sort of out of bounds, it can tend to be a little bit pushy, a little bit aggressive, not just assertive, but aggressive. So, you know, those are the pluses and minuses of being a fire sign. You know, you're ambitious and you're very forward and you're very sort of driven to meet your goals, but you can get frustrated very easily. So that's the Page of Fire, especially the page, because being somewhat youthful, this person is on their way to mastery of those fiery impulses, okay? They're on their way to mastery of ideas like drive and ambition, how to handle them. They're also on their way to mastery of those lower vibrations of fire energy where we get angry or pushy or restless, you know, irritable, that kind of thing. So not quite there, still kind of vacillating between being able to use both sides of that fire, still figuring out how to use our fiery powers for good. Where do I see that on the page today? I'm still figuring out how to use my fire for good. I mean, the sun is in Gemini. The sun is fire. the sun rules Leo, so, you know, it rules our fixed fire sign. The sun is literally a big ball of fire, right? And it just shifted over into Gemini. So it may be about this conversation that we're about to have, that we are having. I'm so glad that the sun is in Gemini at this time, because we've got this grand fixed cross that we've been dealing with for a few days, and I'm not sure how long this is supposed to last, but it's a pressure situation. It's kind of a pressure cooker, you know, for us as individuals, some more than others, depending on your astrological makeup, but definitely also in the collective sense and in the worldwide and like national and international sense. We're having a lot of conflict. Mars is in Leo. This can be a very page of fire kind of vibration, okay? Not, you know, not, I mean, it's initiative, but it's initiative that has stamina, it has endurance, it has staying power, and it's in opposition to Pluto here, which is sort of like the collective subconscious. It's sort of like also the dark side, or the negative manifestations of the things that we are not dealing with in a conscious way. And I mean that on the individual and collective level, okay? So it's sort of your sense of initiative is being stymied by these, you know, sort of unconscious tendencies we have to sort of do damage and walk backwards, right? And so, you know, while we have that conflict, we're all, you know, those planets are also squaring both the north and the south nodes. So this is sort of like the future. This is where we're going. This is the conversation about where we're going. And Jupiter is really right there, conjunct to the north node right now, and it's offering us gifts, it's offering us growth, it's offering us expanded potential and experiences if we take a progressive approach, right? If we try to look forward. And really this next 20 or 30 years is going to increasingly be about making sure, you know, attending to the collective uplift, making sure that everybody has what they need, making sure that people are not going without, okay? So that's, you know, that's what the North Node in Taurus has had us working on for the past year and a half, is like making sure that we in our personal lives have what we need, like understanding what kind of hustle we're going to have to do in this changing environment where, you know, prices change, they go up and down very quickly, where our access to resources changes very, very quickly, okay? So, you know, we've been focused on that. Now Jupiter is saying collectively we can focus on this. And by doing so, we can sort of mitigate this conflict, right? We, you know, yes, we want to take initiative and we have a lot of endurance for it. And yes, we're struggling with the dark side of humanity really at this time. But if we can just get focused, right? And I'm seeing this right now, like a big arrow, right? Because the South Node is the stuff that we have to fall back on. That's the stuff we've already been through, what we've done, what we've mastered. We could go back. We could, there are a lot of people in the world that want us to go back to what seems like it was a simpler time, but it was not necessarily a simpler time for everybody, right? And that Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years is going to say, it's got to be a simpler time for everybody. We need to, we really need to, you know, we really need to take a compassionate approach, and we really need to use our fire and initiative to overcome this dark side of humanity stuff with you know, material responsibility, with responsible use of material resources to make sure everybody has what they need. Okay, so that's the second time I've soapboxed to that one, but it was definitely there, and I'm seeing it very much, you know, that's why I said that I'm glad that the sun is in Gemini right now, because we can communicate at this time. We can really open up and listen. You know, the part of communication that a lot of us miss is the listening to what other people are saying to us, okay? So open up your ears and listen, share your ideas, don't hold back, collaborate with people, okay? So that, you know, with our collaboration, by sharing and saying, well, this is what I think, and this is what I'd like to see, and this is what I need, then, you know, then we have a more collective approach to solving those issues, solving disparities between people, and, you know, solving our own questions about material support in the world. Okay, friends, I think that's all I have to say about it today. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, no, Eight of Swords, real quick. Right. So, you know, if you're feeling trapped in an old way of being, and I'm seeing old ways because we've got the North Node and South Node going here, okay? So this is old ways and this is new ways. If you're feeling trapped in an old way of being, sometimes it can be really hard to consider getting yourself unstuck. Like, you know what you would need to do. You might need to move out, or you might need to tell somebody something that they don't want to hear about you, or you might need to just make a move or take an action that's really going to surprise people and cause them to challenge you and try to figure out why you're doing what you're doing, right? And maybe, you know, we're afraid to meet that challenge, and we're afraid to, you know, confront people with the truth about ourselves. But, you know, really at this time, we have to take personal initiative, okay, because we have the strength to do it. We have the power of the sun behind us, okay? We have the sense of personal sovereignty that says, I have to take action now, because this is where I have the energy to push forward what it is that I want for myself, what it is that I need for myself. You know, and of course the people that I keep close, but this is very personal, selfish vibe. Okay. So, you know, yes, it feels selfish sometimes to put down commitments you've made to other people so that you can take more time and commitment to yourself. That's the point. Okay. But we have to get ourselves in line. We have to feel empowered to use our sense of drive, to use our sense of initiative and passion on something that's important to us personally. Okay, so whatever it is that inspires you, whatever makes you feel driven or passionate, this is the thing that you need to be focusing on at this time. Okay, and when you focus on what makes you passionate, it will make it easier to say the things and make the plans, have the conversations that are going to maybe upset an apple cart or two, but also help push you closer to your ability to pursue what it is that is important to you. And that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here, and I'll see you all in the next video.